I'd like to welcome everyone to our next installment in our program of self-empowerment. The idea of this get-together, for those of you who are just watching for the first time, is that over a period of a year and a half, we are making a journey into wellness. It is not a denial of the benefits of medicine. It is not to practice medicine. There's no diagnosing or treatment of any condition. But it is different than just giving a lecture on health. And it's different in this respect. For so many years, those of us in the alternative health information system, we would counsel and encourage people to make changes in their lifestyle, their behavior, their attitudes, and they would. And they would no longer have possibly arthritis, or their diabetes would improve, or fatigue would be overcome, or sleeping 8 hours went to 6 hours. The trouble is that every time someone made this improvement, more likely than not, their mainstream caregiver would say, well, you didn't have the original arthritis, because if I can't heal arthritis, then it can't be healed. I've seen it done with 100 cases of terminal cancer. A few years ago, in fact 3 years ago on my WBAI daily radio show, we had a series for 10 days where we had 10 women per day for terminal cancer. Now, to qualify to get on the radio program, they had to submit medical records showing that they had had terminal cancer diagnosed at a mainstream orthodox like Cleveland Clinic or MD Anderson or Sloan Kettering, that they were considered end stage and intractable. Nothing that orthodox medicine could do would help them. And that by using various healing modalities, and these were all different, some were Dr. Brzezinski and Dr. Revisi and Dr. Virginia Livingston and Dr. Burton, Dr. Alcott and Kelly and Issels, different therapies around the world, that they had overcome their cancer. Now mind you, I didn't say improve. They had to have no cancer in their body at all and have the histology, pathology, x-rays to prove that. So they had to have a base, here's what you're diagnosed with, and a current, here's what your condition is. And it had to show near death, totally well. That's the qualification to get on my show. 100 women were on. I don't know if any of in the room heard that show, the series. Well, what was interesting is not only the uniqueness of how they approached their condition, but every single woman said the same thing. Every single woman. Their doctors were amazed that they had overcome the condition with no orthodox help. Mind you, they also had no radiation or chemotherapy. But they didn't want to know what they did. Not one doctor, not one out of 100, asked, well, gee whiz, you came back from death. How'd you do it? Let me learn from it. Let me understand the process so I can help my other patients. Not one. Now, if I told you this, you may or may not believe it. But if you heard it from 100 out of 100 women, none of whom knew each other, you're going to think, how could 100 out of 100 say the same thing? It's because there are certain truisms out there. And those truisms are that there are gallant efforts made by well-intentioned physicians and public health educators to overcome illness, but they're using limited tools. The tools simply do not work in most cases. Now, there are times when they do work, like emergency medicine, and for trauma or burn or an operation you may need. But a lot of the care you get is simply not good, and it doesn't help, and it frequently hurts. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do something different. I wanted to take a group of people like yourself who are not here to be treated for anything because we don't treat anything. Instead, we want to examine what will lifestyle change do for your overall well-being. So even though we are not treating depression or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or obesity, there's no diet, is it possible in that year and a half, by living a healthier life, using different tools, that you will be able to reverse those conditions as a side effect of a healthy lifestyle? Now, if I am right, then it doesn't matter what condition you have, there should be an improvement in it. because the very program to prevent an illness is also the program that helps overcome an illness, but just with modification. Now, we've never believed that. So you would be told, well, you've got one of 200 types of cancer, you've got one of 100 types of arthritis, so we'll give you, for your arthritis, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Yes, 16,500 died last year. Yes, 107,000 were hospitalized just for that one drug, just for one type of condition. But that's all we know. And then you're going to say, well, what's diet have to do with it? Nothing. Behavior, nothing. Stress, nothing. Nutrients, nothing. Well, maybe they're right. Maybe diet has nothing to do with anything. That's what we've been told by Orthodox medicine. Nothing, doesn't matter. You can eat hot dogs and French fries your whole life, every meal. Doesn't matter. Then again, what if they're wrong? What if all the garbage that American medicine has been stuffing down your throat was what's causing your illness? What if the primary cause of disease in the United States is your doctor? And the misinformation that he and the dietitian and the nurse and the public health educators have given us because of the control of knowledge and a perverted knowledge by the special interest groups, the dairy industry, the meat industry, the sugar industry, the refined confection industry, the pesticide industry. What if behind the scenes their manipulation of public policy to create so-called scientific truths that you just eat your basic four food group, you do all things in moderation, and you'll be good and healthy and live a long life, and you should be lucky to live to 70. And even if you have arthritis and heart disease and cancer and dementia, gee whiz, you got to be 70, isn't that good? Instead of, aren't we supposed to get 140? Isn't 70 just getting started on life instead of the end of life? And shouldn't we get there with no disease? So I cannot convince any of them at all ever to change their mind. I would do as well as trying to eat through that rock as to open the mind of the average physician. Now that doesn't make them bad, but it does make them obstreperous. It does make their knowledge intractable, just like the diseases that they cannot treat that are terminal. Well, they have a terminal limitation on innate knowledge and the arrogance to assume that there is nothing that they need to know from people like myself or you, because we are not on the hierarchical structure. Their knowledge comes down, ours comes up. So I decided I will no longer try to fight that. I spent my whole career trying to push a rope up a hill, and if you don't think that's hard, try it. I have spent countless hours lecturing in medical school, New York Medical College, teaching in universities, doing all I can to try to open minds that are determined to stay closed. It is not as if there is not a desire for cures. There is, as long as it's theirs. But there's a real strong line of division. If it's their cure, yes. Our cure, no. Because ours would not be their methodology, their tools. Now, reasonable people would say, well, let's stop all this nonsense. Isn't that just a lot of ego? You know, we got to have it, they got to have it, I got to be right, they got to be right. Let's look at what is right. Let's simply take the best of all things and put them together so we can live a healthier lifestyle, live a longer life. Why argue? Why fight? We have not been the ones demeaning them. We have respected them. We have not been the ones that have tried to constrict the whole way we heal by creating laws that would keep any physician, no matter how successful they are, from using techniques that could make a difference. They have. We have not used words like pseudoscientific, quackery, charlatan to describe anyone offering alternative positions, or the individuals who have benefited as delusional or psychotic. They have. So look carefully at who has been doing the screaming, the yelling, the condemning, the threatening, the harassing, the imprisonment, the fines. Look who has really been the medical terrorists. It has not been us. So the fact that any of us have any form or any respect or any confidence to do anything in a society that has